Hey, what's up, Minecraft gamers? I'm back at it again, and today I'm bringing you a music disc farm. The way that this farm works is we're using a snow golem to basically steal an arrow from a skeleton that we can then use to kill all of the creepers. When a fire arrow hits a TNT, that TNT belongs to the entity that shot the arrow. So when we steal the arrow from the skeleton, this TNT becomes the skeleton's, and every creeper that gets killed by it is technically killed by a skeleton and drops a music disc as a result. The farm is basically entirely operated with one button. Alright, assuming this is your first time using the farm, in a couple of minutes your arrow will have despawned, so you have to press the button once to prime the arrow. That little jingle up there with the note blocks is an indication that you got an arrow primed. Once you have a primed arrow, you can put a TNT underneath the lava and press the button again, and this will ignite your TNT and kill your creepers. A little bit of a disclaimer before we get into the tutorial. I'm not going to be providing a tutorial for a creeper farm, just for my bits that allow you to get music discs out of it. However, I will link a tutorial to a simple creeper farm in the description. You don't need a super high rate creeper farm for this thing. There's only like 10 music discs that creepers drop. Okay, here's our material list. A couple things to mention. I've definitely overestimated the amount of blocks and slabs that you need, but better safe than sorry. As for the note block tune, you could dumb it down if you want. You could just use one note block on a piece of dirt just to get a little tone when you have an arrow ready. And as for those spawn eggs, those are mobs that you'll need to capture in the farm, not necessarily spawn eggs you'd have to come across in survival. Okay, so this is where I'm going to be starting the tutorial. I've built out a little bit from the other farm. You're going to want a platform that is 24 blocks underneath the lowest spawning platform of your creeper farm, and that'll ensure the creepers can still spawn on that platform. That's just the minimum. You can go down further too. I would start with something like this: 2 blocks in each direction surrounding the drop chute. And what you're gonna do, you're gonna have a cutout on one side. This is where your music discs are gonna be flushed. You're gonna put water and water and hold up. There we go. That's an infinite water source now. Also, I lied in the material list. You actually need 2 water buckets so you can get an infinite water source, but this can act as your infinite water source. I would also recommend plugging this hole if you've built your creeper farm first, because you do not want creepers falling on your head. Okay, next step. We are going to build the bit for the TNT. So, your water is flowing this way. You're going to go the opposite direction and probably extend this back about 3 blocks just so you have room to work. And then here is the setup. You're going to go 3 slabs, 3 slabs, place a slab there, 3 solid blocks. You could get away with 1, but 3 looks a little better, I think. And then you're going to place a water bucket here. And you're going to take a fence gate and put it there and open it up. Another important little step in making sure you don't get got by the creepers is to surround the drop chute in slabs. So you're going to surround it like that. There's already 2 slabs there, and your last slab you're going to place on the top. And this ensures that the creepers stay inside the slab. They could like technically get out if there's a 2 block gap here. And you don't want that, because then they're going to blow up your farm you worked so hard on. It's going to be a bad time. You'll blow up and lose all your stuff. Don't want that. Okay, and so before we start working up above, what we're going to do is we're going to place a sign here, a bucket of lava here, a block here, and a button on that block. You can even place another button on the other side. That way you can work with the farm from both sides if you want. Okay, so another little thing before we go up top, I've actually extended the floor and ceiling by 1 block on all sides, just so it's a little less cramped down here. So feel free to do that too. I think it's pretty beneficial. So now we're on the roof we just built. Here's our lava bucket that we placed. And here's what's going to happen next. You're going to place a sticky piston facing towards the drop chute. You're going to put a target block on that sticky piston, and you got to go underneath that and place a redstone torch. And then we're going to put that back. Then you're going to go observer with the face facing into the piston, another observer facing down into the first observer, a block, and then these are temporary blocks right here because we're going to put a regular piston. We can break those now. We can put a redstone block, another temporary block, another temporary block, and another temporary block. Break these two, put a piston there, and then we're going to have another temporary block over here. We're going to put a sticky piston into that. And I lied, that's not even temporary, that's a permanent block. That's actually exactly where we need that. Next, we're going to work from the target block here. So we're going to put a repeater here, a stack of 2 blocks here. This one's actually going to be the floor for the snow golem to stand on. And then we're going to make a little block staircase right here and run some redstone dust on that. And this will basically, this is like a turn on and shut off for the arrow collection system. So once the arrow's collected, it will shut itself off. Okay, next we're back up in the top section, and we're going to run a little line here. We're running this one on slabs because we want to avoid any quasi-connectivity shenanigans with this piston. So we're going to go 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on top of that, we are going to put a block, and you're going to scaffold up here. I'm just going to fly. We're going to go 3 temporary blocks, and this one is permanent. Break these blocks, and we're going to put in tripwire hooks and connect them like that. Okay, next we're back to a few more temporary blocks. So we're going to place 1 here, and then we're going to come out here, and then over here and over here. Break these 3. This block is permanent. This is where the skeleton's going. And so now I can show you the setup for these little stalls we're keeping the mobs in. So let's go up here. We're going to place a trapdoor like this, and we're going to come out of every side. And then we're going to break the trapdoor. Then we're going to stack up another one on these 3 sides. We're going to flip these, and then on the top, if you want it facing this way, you'll probably place it on the back, and 1 more trapdoor like that. You can flip all these trapdoors up. If you don't want to be bothered with trapdoors, you're also perfectly fine just using solid blocks. It's just going to look a lot clunkier. And then you're also going to repeat this setup over here. And now both of those are in. Over in this stall, we're going to introduce a snow golem. So we're going to break the trapdoor temporarily, place 2 snow blocks and a carved pumpkin, and then we can lock him away again. Next up is our little note block tune here. So we're going to come back to this target block. We're going to run a repeater out of this side. We're going to put a gold block here and a gold block over here. A note block on top of this one. Right click it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Note block on top of this one. Right click it 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we're going to put a repeater right there and a piece of redstone dust right here. You can customize this however you want. This is just here to kind of give you the information that you have an arrow primed, and I thought note blocks were the easiest way to set this up. So if you want to make it a little cheaper, you could just swap these gold blocks out for dirt and get the default note block sound too. Gold blocks are a little pricey. So the last thing that you need to make this thing work is you need to capture a skeleton and get him into this stall. And this is probably going to be the most annoying part of the whole build. So I'll show you a little bit of what you can do. Okay, you can break this bit right here. I've already built a staircase up to this because you're probably going to need some type of rail setup to get your skeleton in. So we'll place one here and here, and we have to extend this. And yeah, let's break this, put that there. And we're probably going to break that one because we want him to land there. We don't want to have to accidentally free him if we break the wrong block when we get him out of there. And we got to power this rail. So this would kind of be your setup to get him into the stall. So if you conveniently find a skeleton close enough to your farm, all you got to do is nudge him along this track. If you're in survival mode, he's going to be shooting at you a little bit, and that's not going to be fun, and I'm sorry about that. And once you got him up in the stall, you can break his minecart, and you can replace this trapdoor. There we go. Now he would technically be in. But I'm not going to leave you in the dark because there's not going to be a skeleton that just spawns on your farm. If your skeleton didn't happen to spawn right on top of your farm, then you can actually build a little simple flying machine like this, putting 2 little blocks on the side, and then when you power the thing, it will take them where you need them. Make sure you position an immovable block at the end of the line, or this flying machine can cause major issues for you, by the way. So once you've got your skeleton where you need him, you could clean up any of the little infrastructure that you might have used to get him into his spot. And you need to name tag this guy so that he does not despawn. So now your farm should be all built. So you can come back down here and you're able to open up the drop chute again and start getting creepers in your farm. And we're doing a little test run together here to make sure I showed you everything right. This TNT is in. We're going to press once to prime the farm. That's the arrow primed. We're going to do it one more. And the TNT is in. There goes all your loot. So the last thing we need to talk about is getting your loot into storage. So this little setup down here is actually perfect for converting into a water stream. So we're going to put like 3 ice blocks there and put pressure plates on top of them. And then we can extend out here and start a water stream. And I'm not going to do like a full tutorial on what your storage should look like because it's highly personal, but I will point out some things that you should maybe avoid. Okay, so here's a little sample storage setup I've done. It's just a water stream into a bubble column. And here's the big idea. You do not want a water stream running across a bunch of hoppers, and the reason for that is because there's a delay on hoppers being able to pick up entities. And since these disks aren't going to stack with each other, you are going to overwhelm even a long line of hoppers by using this farm. So it's better to just run your water stream to one hopper, and then the hopper line will take care of the rest. Now, finally, we'll just see how many music discs we get from one use of this farm. So let's put the TNT in, prime it. It's ready to go. And let's see what we get. Oh, we're getting some gunpowder first, and here comes all of the music discs. Check that out. I think this will probably fill up the chest. Okay, so this chest is filled. It's probably filling the next chest by now. Oh, yeah, here we go. So we've backlogged this hopper. And yeah, I mean, check out those rates. And a key thing to note is you get more gunpowder than you've put in by quite a lot. I mean, it takes 5 gunpowder to make this one TNT, and you've gotten about almost a stack and a half. So there you go. All right, and that marks the end of the tutorial. I hope you find the time and the gumption to build this in your own world. And thank you so much for watching. If you stuck around this long, feel free to click that subscribe button. Also, feel free to check out my other videos. I have some other farms that may be of somewhat use to you. Leave a like if you found this farm interesting or fun or any positive thing you might attribute to it. And also comment for more. You know, I only have so many ideas that I could put out there. So if you guys got something you want to see, I'd be happy to take a crack at it. All right, thank you so much, and goodbye.